All right, welcome. You can see there's some good progress on the mushroom farm here in Kansas. We should be in operation in the next couple weeks. Hopefully in July, we're looking at being in full operation. I now have classes on my website, myersmushrooms.com. So you can sign up for hands-on classes to learn how to commercially farm gourmet mushrooms. And I also have full cases for sale. If you want a full case of XLS-A's or 14A's, I have them listed on my website with free shipping. So depending on where you live, it might be a lot cheaper than even buying it from Unicorn because of shipping. You can see here's the incubation. It's all insulated. I just got to finish doing the sheetrock and then insulate the ceiling. And then here is the laboratory, lab 1, the sawdust lab. So you can see that's almost done, and I got one of the sterilizers over there. I'll make a video all about it once it's done. Still a work in progress. So I wanted to go over with you guys some of the mistakes that I made with this grow. Here's the fruiting room framed out. So yeah, it's going to be steel framing and then steel roofing, like the same thing that the building's made out of, wrapped around the inside. So some of the mistakes that I made, one of the first ones that I noticed that was a pretty big one was these hangers. So there's these nails that go in here, and the ones on your left there, they go into the top plate or the header board. The ones on the left are only 1.5 inches, and they're marked as joist hanger nails. So I grabbed a whole box of them. But then what happened was, once we got the job all done, I realized that there was a little marking on the side of it that shows that you have to use longer ones on these two, the ones that go through this beam and then into the back one. We were using 1.5, which weren't even clearing into that back board. So what ended up happening was I had to buy a whole box of 5 pounds of 3-inch nails, and we had to pull all of them, and it took us about 2 days to pull all of them and reinstall the correct nails. So yeah, that was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was when I ordered my lumber, I didn't clarify that I wanted stud 2x4s pre-cut. So I guess there's 2 different types. There's 8 foot, 36 inches, or 8 foot, which is 96 inches. I believe. And then there's also 93 and like 5/8. So those 93 and 5/8 is what you want for your studs to build your wall height to where your wall will be 8 feet. Because I used actual 8-footers, it wasn't a big deal until I went to go buy my pre-cut insulation. And you can see what happened was the pre-cut insulation is cut for the pre-cut studs. So my ceiling height is actually like 8 feet 3 inches. And I had to put little 4-inch fillers between on the top part of each insulation bat. In hindsight, it's not the worst thing. It gave me more ceiling height. So I definitely get a little bit more airflow in here. I got a little bit more, capacity for bagged in here by a couple inches. So it's not the worst thing ever, but it probably would have saved a little bit of time when it came to insulating with the pre-cut bats. Or I should have not bought pre-cut bats in this case, but it was already too late. I should have bought the rolls and then cut them to size. Another mistake that was made was the fact that as time went on, this went from just putting storage up top to actually becoming like a little office. Like we're going to put a staircase coming off of this right here, and there's going to be a room up here, like a 14 by 20 room. So when it was storage, it was fine how it's built like this. But then as I added these cross beams and we're talking about adding a load up there now, we should have done double top plate. So because these are load bearing walls. So double top plate would have been 2 2x4s right there running stacked on top of each other. So that way this loads those 2x4s a little bit better. The inspector took a look at it and he said it's not a big deal. We're not living up there. I don't have a heavy load up there. I'm not working on engines or any heavy machinery up there, so it's not a big deal. It's just an office. It shouldn't hurt. But he said, yes, we should have done a double top plate. What else? That's pretty much it for the big mistakes. We did kind of mess around a little bit with the design in here. At first, we tried to make this arch without doing that full beam across. We tried to do like a beam, a little beam, and then it was all wobbly. So we ended up adding in. It's another job where we did the whole job. We didn't like it. We took it all down and redid it with these 2x6s running across the top. Take note, this is not just typical studs. These are like really heavy duty structural metal studs, opposed to like these thin ones that we're using for bracing. These are really like, I don't know, 18 gauge or something like that. This is probably like 14 or 16 gauge. So the inspector was like, okay, that's good, because you know that can support a load and that you can screw into like that. Whereas you wouldn't want to do it with the thinner stuff from like Home Depot or whatever. This is more of like a contractor grade studs, steel studs. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We should be doing the final connections in the breaker box this week for the air conditioners. So right now we pulled all the wires. All the wires are all dangling up in here. They're ready to be connected. I'm going to have an electrician come out, make the final connections. That way he can sign off on the permit. He's already inspected all the wiring that I did out here. Said it looks good. And then the air conditioning units are going to go in. Sheetrock goes up, and then it's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm really excited to be growing. Should be making a lot of mushrooms here in Wichita. And then I'll also be making all that spawn too. So it'll be very interesting to have this operation up and running, and I'm excited to be growing mushrooms again. So hopefully you like this video. Check out myersmushrooms.com. Shop online, get some mushroom growing bags. I have some equipment on there as well. And yeah, make sure you check out also patreon.com/myersmushrooms and support this channel. So take it easy and keep on mushrooming.